So, what I wanted to talk about is this massive amount of excuses that people have for everything today. There's an excuse for everything, right? And all the time when I'm communicating with people, either about attending a training or learning, or they're going to grow their company, there's always this massive amount of excuses everybody has. Oh, I can't attend. I'm busy. I don't have the money. And I get what this is like because I'm going to share a story with you on how I can relate because I used to have all these excuses. Some of my excuses were, if I hire people, they're probably going to, if I hire them, they'll rob from me, they'll destroy things. I had an excuse, so I didn't hire people. Then I had an excuse that they wouldn't be as good as me. So it was a constant state of excuses. Then it was like, oh, well, I didn't go to college. So I had an excuse for that, why I wasn't wealthy. There was this constant evolution of excuses. And then once I started working, learning, figuring out that excuses were nothing more than a really, really good story that people have. Now that it's like 3 decades of working with people, this is not something I like started and decided like, oh, I figured it out. And like, now I'm this guy on stage and I do these things. So I guess I have it all figured out. No, no, no. This is like, I had my own excuses. I looked at other people's excuses. I helped people past excuses. I helped people get past their excuses and become wealthy. And so, look, but let me tell you a story about my own excuse. So, hey, what's happening, Jim? Whoever else joins, give me a big old boom in the chat bar. So, my wife is doing this coaching with a female coach, and she has a great time. This is probably 18 years ago. And then she said, you know what? You should do a coaching with her. And I was like, DJ, I was like, I don't know, a woman coach, like, I don't know if this makes sense. And she's like, well, why don't you see what happens? So I was like, you know what? This makes all the sense in the world. I will do a session with her. And it ended up being one of the best things that I ever did because what happened was through this coaching, and she was sharing all kinds of insights with me. And, I invested money in this person. They didn't do it for free, which is another excuse thing I'll talk about today. And so the woman says, hey, your wife tells me that she wants to go to this training. I think it was in Arizona. And she said, like, you just can't make it happen. And I said, well, it's 7 days of training. You got to get out there. So it's 9 days of training, DJ. 9 days away from the company, away from growing, away from everything. And we have 2 small children. So I turn around and I say, how am I going to do that? I'm like, I'm growing a company. We got small kids. And then life changed for me. She turned around and she looked at me and she goes, oh, so Mr. Big Businessman can't figure this one out. And first I turned red. I was like, she did not just say that. Like, I could see us there on the couch in our house in South Brunswick there, looking at her in her eyes while she said that. And I must have had the most, man, I wish this was filmed. I must have had the most dead stare, like, you did not just say that to me. And I'm looking, I'm like, now right away I go, you think I can't figure this out? And so I go into figure out mode, which we do. We hire, we didn't hire her. She came with us and we paid for all the expenses. We hired my aunt to come there to watch the kids during the day. We went for 9 days. It was life-changing for me and my wife. We figured out how to navigate things. So, but if you go back, if I had let that excuse get in the way, which it was, that excuse was getting in the way. Didn't have the time, didn't have the money, didn't have the resources. Like, what a whiny bitch that I was with all this bullshit stories of myself. Like, I can't do it because you don't understand, right? No, no, no. Excuses are killing your dreams. Like, I watch it every single day. People don't want to invest in themselves. They don't want to invest in time. They don't want to invest in change because excuses are so comfortable because everybody has one. It's so comfortable to hang around with everybody today because as you're hanging around with everybody, like, yeah, I don't think I could do that either. And like, yeah, me neither. So there's comfort in excuses. The minute you remove your excuses, so I had somebody, this is probably before I was coaching service industries years ago. So let's go back maybe 12, 13, 14 years. A guy said to me, he's started his company. He's like, well, I can't afford to wrap a truck. I said, oh, that's a really good excuse. He's like, no, I don't have the money. I said, oh, so you think you need money to create transactions? Like you need money to get all outcomes. He goes, well, yeah, how would I pay for it? I said, why don't we try something? Why don't you go up to the person that does the wrapping? Now you do service. I think he did heating and air and gas lines and stuff. I said, why don't you call him up and say, hey, I need my truck wrapped and there might be something you need in your house, in your shop. I said, then why don't you call me back and let me know what happens? He calls me back. He says, I called the guy and the guy said, yeah, I need a bunch of work. Do you want to just barter it? So I just turned around and I said, so where's the excuse? See, the excuse is a roadblock that you give yourself. Like, I don't have time. I have to, you know how many times I hear people tell me, I have to watch the kids. I'm like, you have to watch the kids? Like you can't figure that one out to move your life forward because you have to watch your kids. Oh, I don't have the money. No. You are not hungry enough. You don't want it enough. You're not in enough pain and suffering. Because when you have enough pain and suffering, you will remove the excuse and take massive action. It's 100%. I watch it all the time. I actually just had it the other day. You guys will find this good. So I got the guy who's John. He's new. He's cut my brother's hair. He does a great job cutting my brother's hair. So I went and tried him. Super nice young guy. Highland Park is their barbershop. And so, I'm sitting in a chair and talking about his business and stuff. And like normal, I help everybody when I'm around him. It's just what I'm built for. And so the second time I went the other day to get a haircut and he's talking, he's trying to grow it and do marketing. I said, look, you got that great spot there. Why aren't you interviewing people right there? Why don't you bring in people from the town, the jewelry store, the chiropractor? Bring me. You could interview me there. And so he turns around and he's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, nah, not okay. Like, are you going to do it? Are you telling me you're going to do it? He's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I said, okay, but when are you going to do it? See, because there's the excuse and then there's ways past the excuse. And if you want me to give you the way past the excuse, type in the chat bar, tell me, and I'll give you the way past the excuse. So now you got to remember, I've only met this guy twice. It's my second haircut. He does a really good job. He's young. He's growing. He needs people to help him some. So I turned around and I said, okay, so you're going to do it? By when? He says, I'm going to figure this stuff out, whatever he said. I said, no. Can you do it before the end of this month? Before the end of January, can you interview somebody over there? And then now, instead of just this barbershop, and they're hip, it's cutting edge barbershop. Instead of just cutting hair in this place, you now can do like, fireside chat from the barber chair, from chair to chair, expert talks, whatever you want to do it. I said, now you're going to bring a new attention into your shop. And he goes, okay, I'll do it by the end of the month. I said, oh, no. It's not. Listen to what I said. Travis, I said, it's not that easy with me. You don't understand. I said, now at any time when I'm sharing with you, you could say, I don't want this. So I turned around and I said, well, what's your leverage? I said, what's your leverage? Like, he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, the way the brain works is to remove excuses. We need two things. We need leverage and we need reward. The brain wants to run away from pain and it wants to go to pleasure. So I said, first, what's the leverage? He goes, I don't understand. I said, well, how about if you don't do it by the end of January? I said, you don't get one interview done by the end of January. You'll cut my hair for free the rest of the year. Well, that didn't work. He goes, well, I would just cut your hair for free just to talk to you when you come. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's okay. I said, that wasn't enough leverage. That's not good leverage. There's a gift inside that. And I said, no, you're not cutting my hair for free. I'm going to pay for my haircut. I'm honored to serve other business owners. So I turned around and we go past. Well, what do you? Is there something you would never eat? Because I remember one time in my company, I turned around and I said, if my team failed their goals, they agreed they would eat live goldfish. So I would get live goldfish and they would have to eat them. Like, that was leverage. Another person I had, if they didn't get it done, they were deadly scared of clowns. So if they didn't get the task done, anybody else, type in clowns if you're scared of clowns by any chance. So I said, if you don't get this done, you're going to have to sleep all night with 5 clowns. I'm going to hire 5 people dressed up in really creepy clown outfits, and they're just going to stare at you while you sleep. And then another person, I turned around and I think it was a 7 Series BMW. I said, well, if you don't get this done, you're going to give me the car. But if you agree, you're going to hold to it. Because if you agree and break the deal, my son and I will fly out there. We'll smash your car in. We'll literally stick swords right through your car. So I turned around with the barber and he goes, I don't know what leverage would be. I said, okay, do you eat dog shit? And he goes, no. I said, sounds like a fair one. He goes, where do I get it? I said, I got a dog. I said, this is perfect. He goes, so I said, let me clear. You have any time you could walk away from this, say, you're a nut job. I'm only going to cut your hair. Don't talk to me no more. I said, but if you don't get a video done by this inside your shop, which I know is going to help him because, one, he's going to interview experts. It's going to bring attention. It's going to help these guys grow. They're young. I want nothing more than for them to win in their life. So he turns around. He goes, okay, deal. So I said, all right, but now you need a reward. Because remember, the excuse is in the middle. The pain will make me go, shit, I don't want that. I have to move past the excuse. And then the reward makes it go, man, my brain goes, I want that so much. So he turned around and he said, you know what? I want to go eat at this place in New York City. I haven't been there. Maybe it's expensive. I don't know what the place was. And he goes, I want to go there. So I said, okay, we got a deal. Guess what he does now? The minute I leave there, that day he texted me. He's like, are you coming back on this date or this date for your haircut? I'm cutting your hair and I'm interviewing you. Now it's a must. You see, when you understand and the leverage is enough, the leverage will get you past your bullshit excuses. And then the reward becomes the fuel, and then it becomes a must. And then, guess what? You win. Now, it doesn't matter what this is. I mean, look at your health. You want leverage on your health? Guess what? You're probably going to die early. I mean, somebody that I knew, I said to them, they smoked. I said, you want to smoke? He says, no, I don't want to smoke. I just can't quit. I said, no, you don't have enough leverage to quit. So I said, let's talk about this. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to imagine you don't stop smoking. And 10, 15 years from now, what could possibly happen? He goes, I'll get sick. I could get cancer. I won't be able to breathe. I'll have lung issues. I said, okay, all fair stuff. I said, do me a favor. Let's go out 10, 15 years from now. And I want you to put yourself in those shoes. You have the problems. Now, you're probably going to have what? Grandchildren, and you have kids now. He says, yeah, I have kids. I'll probably have grandchildren. I said, okay, do me a favor. I'm going to put all the kids and grandchildren right here, right now in front of you. And I want you to have a conversation with them and tell them that you're sick. You're going to die because you made excuses that you could not quit. You tried to quit. So come on, tell me. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. I said, then you don't want to quit. I said, give me the cut. Here, who do I have to be? Who's your daughter's name? I don't remember the daughter's name. So I said, I'm the daughter. So go ahead. Tell me. Tell me as to say, I was not strong enough and I could not stop because I made excuses. And now I'm going to miss out on the rest of your life for that. So guess what happens? He starts crying. I got tears in my eyes watching him. I said, so what do you want to do? I don't care if you smoke. You can smoke. I'm not going to die. And I'm not going to hang out with you while you smoke because I don't want secondhand smoke. So I said, what should we do? He goes, well, I need to get past this excuse. Right. Do we need more leverage? No. What about the reward now? What's the reward? Now, see, the problem with this in human language is when people say they quit, right? The mind says you stop temporarily. That's what quitting means. It's like I stop temporarily. And if this is making sense, everybody type in the chat bar what makes sense. See, you don't want to quit. You have to get to the point where you say, I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a drugger. That's not who I am, right? Because my dad had the same thing. My dad would say, you know, I quit smoking. I said, Dad, you got to start saying, I'm not a smoker. Because when you're not a smoker, There's nothing to go back to, right? It's only when you think there's something to go back to, you'll go back to that. Oh, I'm sober for this long. Okay, that means there's a possibility, I guess, you'll be not sober one day. How about this? I don't drink alcohol. I'm not a drinker. Why do you have to hang on to a past attachment? Why do you have to hang on to a past emotion, a past story? Like who wrote these rules and these laws of you must hang on to that ball and chain, and long as you hang on to that identity of I was that. How about you're not was that? I just am this today. So let's go back to the original subject I want to talk about. Everybody's bullshit excuses. I always have this phrase like, everybody wants what you have. They don't want to do what you do. Isn't that the truth? Because right now you're listening to me and I'm wondering, like, it's Friday night. Okay, so it's, what is it? It's 10 p.m. Friday night. And I'm here with you because I want to. Because I'm hoping just one person hears this and gets past their bullshit excuses, stops letting themselves down, stops letting their family down, stops letting their children down, starts letting their community down, their company down. That's all I want. That's all I want. If just one of you hear this, then you'll maybe tonight makes a difference. If you think it might make a difference, type in difference in the chat bar. Otherwise, I don't need to do the videos if it's not making a difference. I want it to make a difference for you. But you have to be willing to say, hang on a minute. And why don't you just take it as a task this weekend? Why don't you just take a pad and why don't you write down like, hey, I don't have $1 million in my bank account. I don't have $1 million in my bank account. And then what happens is write down every excuse why you don't have $1 million. What is Travis? I lost half my foot. No excuse. Yeah, Travis, I was just telling somebody the story the other day, a big turning point for me. I'll share it with you guys. So when I was still working in the field as an electrician, I tore all the ligaments in my ankle. I tore them, bent my ankle over. It's destroyed all the ligaments. It's going to take 6 weeks to heal. They got a cast on this thing. Now, we were I think my brother, maybe my business partner, Rob, maybe one helper or so, right? But guess what? Does the owner get unemployment, disability? Just for all of you that don't own a company, let me just tell you what the owner gets. All the pressure in the fucking world, and they get nothing from nobody. Let's just be clear there. All right. So any of you that are working for people, you should thank them every day. Even if you don't like where you're working, you should thank them because they're doing things that most people won't do. So now I got this cast on and what? I don't get no money from nowhere. Uncle Sam doesn't go, oh, sorry you hurt your foot. Here's disability. It's not like employees when I had, they hurt their elbow, hurt their finger, disability to get paid to sit home and play video games. That wasn't the world for me. So guess what I had to do? Crutches. Okay. Black plastic bag, duct tape around it, crutching, and wiring swimming pools. For weeks. I'd go out there, they'd bring the pole, and we had like a gas postal thing, and I'd have the crutches, and I'd put the hole, then I'd put it on the ground, I'd pick up the post, drop the post in, bang it, move dirt, then I would crutch across, snake it in, pull the wires. You're sitting there going, well, yeah, everybody should do it. Well, I don't know if everybody should do it, but I had to do it because I need to make money to get paid. So for me, I don't care if you lost your whole leg. I don't care if you lost both legs. There's no excuse for you not to get where you need to do today. First off, knowledge is abundant. Shit, you're here listening to me. I'm giving you information. I wish I had it three decades ago. So knowledge is abundant. No lack of money in the world. No lack of pretty much anything, at least in most of our worlds. Maybe if you go to a third world country, maybe there's lack of food there or lack of resources, but not here for most of us. There's not. So, but the first step, and let me give you action step to write down. Action step number 1 is identify what you don't have that you want. Okay? Identify what you have what you want that you don't have right now. Once you identify that, like, oh, and we'll just use a weird example, like I want $1 million in my bank. Okay, you don't have it? Perfect. Tell me all the excuses why you don't have it. I don't have a college degree. I'm from middle class. I live in a poverty area. I did not, you know how many times I heard like, oh, well, I didn't graduate high school. You know, there's so many. So I'm like, okay, cool. Are you done with all these excuses? All right. Now, if you were to put in action to destroy that excuse, what would the action be? I would start learning marketing. I'd start learning sales. I'd start learning about money. I'd learn about the stock market. I would learn about bartering. I would learn about investing. I would learn about communicating. I would learn about sales. Okay, so we just destroyed that one. What's the next one? What's the next one? When you look at and you could face in the mirror your own excuses and then just eliminate them with action items and then put leverage and reward on it, you will move faster than most humans. And I mean, look, how do I know? Because I did it. I showed up. I showed up. It's funny because I just did a post. Hey, what's up, Mike Moy? I did a post in somebody posted in another group. He said, does money does not create loyalty? I disagree with that. I've helped people with money and I've created great loyalty, lifetime loyalty from helping them in a position. You know, it's interesting when you start to look at different things that people are saying. You look at different conversations. You look at the context of everybody agreeing with everybody else and all while staying stuck, right? Staying stuck. And we're in a world where divorced people are teaching people how to stay married. People with no children are trying to teach people how to manage children. People that are overweight and unhealthy are telling people how to live longer. I mean, it's fascinating to me. In the end, it's going to come down to one thing. Are you willing to get rid of your excuses? And are you willing to step past that excuse to get exactly what you want? I had a lot. Mike Moeller was a great team member of mine for many, many, many years. I had a lot of times as a leader where I could have quit. Mike Moeller, true? I mean, I got hit with 5 people quit on me in 1 week. 5, like sales manager, install manager. Let's see, it was Mark, it was Becker, it was somebody, I don't know. 5 people left. 1 week they quit. That happened to me twice. That's pretty frustrating. It's pretty upsetting when that happens. Could have quit. General manager, he screwed me over, tried to start his own company. He cost me a ton of money through a copyright infringement lawsuit. Could have quit, right? Trucks hitting the bridge over and over. Could have quit, right? Lawsuits left and right. People getting hurt left and right. Could have quit. I could have had a million excuses to stop. I remember, Mike Moeller probably remembers, you know, when I went and we joined up with our partner Adam back then, like he was in a house, they had this big table, this huge table. They used to smoke, and there was this little fart fan in there, and it would just be smoking. They'd be smoking. I told, I remember this conversation like it's yesterday. They didn't like it. Mike Mueller, you were there. Steve Koza was there. A bunch of people were there. And I said to everybody, like, look, we got to change. The way we're doing this cannot happen like this no more. We will never get to this place and survive this way if we keep doing this. We got to change it. And if you allow me to step forward, like I'll lead 500 people. I'll lead us to the next level. And along that, I'll protect your livelihood. I'll grow this company with you. We will get better incentives, better benefits, better parties, better everything, bigger trucks, better material, better tools, better training. We will do that. And the fact is that when I eliminate the excuses of that's how they always did it. And then, of course, Adam and Rob went away. They had this big table that Adam, who's one of my partners, had made. And when they both went away one time, I cut the fucking thing up and threw it out. So we're getting this table out of here. We're changing things here. There's no more smoking in this room. Do you want to smoke? You got to smoke outside. We're not going to kill ourselves in this room. Because all I wanted for them, like, I knew I'd grow a company. I wanted them to grow their life. I wanted them to be better, you know? It wasn't just about the money. It was about the people being better. a better father, right? A better mother, a better aunt and uncle, a grandparent. That's what, because I knew if I could make them better humans into superhuman, then everything would change. But I had to keep eliminating my own excuses along the way. Oh man, I can't. Like every time I was told, like, we just can't buy 10 more trucks. Wait, we can't? Or we don't know how to yet, right? I mean, it applies in everything, guys. Like in your relationship, it's like, oh, I can't deal with this no more. You can't, or you're not willing to learn how to. So let's take tonight's lesson and just take it and look in the own mirror, your own mirror for your own excuses. I'm constantly still challenging my own after all these years. Like, hang on, I want to go here. Wait, I got stuff to do. Is that an excuse? Is there not a way to make that happen? Is there not a way to think? Is there not a resource to do it? I promise you, if you start thinking this way, you're going to move faster and you're going to go forward. Just eliminate your excuses of, I don't have enough time. You got the same time as everybody else. I realize some people got some things that are stacked against the deck. And other people have more things stacked against the deck than you. So, if you're willing, type in the chat bar, like, what's one thing that you're going to stop making excuses of? Because when you call it out publicly, you're ready to move forward. Is it, I'm going to stop sugar, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop smoking, like I'm going to stop making excuses that I can't eat healthy because I'm always working in the field? Yes, you can. Just bring fucking celery sticks instead of stopping at Burger King. There's a way to do this. I'm rooting for all you guys. I want 2023, as the world pushes on you, I don't want you to accept it as an excuse. I want you to train to push beyond it. That's what I want you to do. All right, let me see if you like celery. So it's easy, Travis. It's easy. Me too, man. Me too. Write your goals down and put them where you can see them. Yes, Mike, I agree with you. Travis, I've never been a business owner. I tried to get my contractor's license, but just never broke over and other issues. You could listen, whatever you want, whatever you can see in your mind, you're going to accomplish. You have to see it and believe it and see it as if it is real and done. Okay, there is always a way. Life of a hustler from the gutter. Okay, yeah, all of us have been some form of a gutter, some form of pain and suffering. And guess what? You're stronger than your pain and suffering. Everybody is. Okay, everybody, that's it for me tonight. It is 13 after 10. Let me know what my video, if I do a video tomorrow, feel free to type in what you would like me to cover tomorrow, maybe about relationships, health, training your mind, focus, discipline, next level accountability. What can I do to help you next? Think a little different from my time of wisdom and things. Also, I have, I think 3 spots left for Mind Power. It starts January 10th. It's 2 nights a week with me for 3 weeks. If you think you can handle that, it starts at 7 p.m. We go to about 9 p.m., sometimes a little later. If you want to spend 2 nights a week for 3 weeks with me and watch how we can shift your thinking forever and make the next 2, 3, 5, 6 decades different than any decade you ever experienced, just send me a private message and I'll let you know how you can get a spot there. Okay, cool. Boom, everybody. Love you guys. I'm rooting for you. Have a great night. Boom.